number 99. Jacob Glodich, aka Drift King, in the number 14. Christopher Heights driving the number 18. Brian Powell in the number 37. And Sam Lear in the number 28, making it in on 1 point over myself. So congrats to Sam on making it. Congrats to everybody who's made it this far in the championship. We look forward to the final 4 races. It's been a great season. I have enjoyed every moment of driving in it, and my time driving in it has come to an end for the year because we're going to bring it to you live. So the 88 truck will not show up, as far as I know, for the next 4 races. I'm going to try and see if I can't get somebody into it for at least the last 3. I'd love to have that truck still on track and have one more person out there. But for right now, there are no Nightmare trucks competing, but that doesn't damper our spirits for what is going to be an excellent final couple of races. We are ready, we're prepared, and I'm thrilled for this. So Bristol tonight, and then I believe, and I'm not mistaken here, if I'm not mistaken, we are off. Then we have Talladega. I think we're off for 2 weeks after that. We're off for a little bit. Talladega's not until October 3rd. Homestead's October 24th. That'll end this round. And then Phoenix, the championship round, is November 7th. So those are the races we're looking at. Keeping you in the sky cam, we'll go to one of the lower cams as we get closer to race time. So absolutely incredible. The way that the last round ended. 1 point difference is a hell of a way to get knocked out. It does suck, I will say that now, but you can't change it. And I could have been better personally from the get-go to maybe avoid that fate, but things happen. Races occur the way they do, and we end up where we are. So for those that may be wondering why on the ticker you see the registered mark and the hyphen O's, the register mark means that the driver is a rookie in the series. The hyphen O means that the driver is only here for owner's points. Anybody that doesn't have either of those symbols next to them is a points runner, and they are not a rookie. So that's what all those things mean. And we're going to go ahead and turn the music off. We don't need it anymore. All right. So we are ready to go here from Bristol. Yep, everybody has been excited, is waiting for this event. It's been a while since I think NORA's had a truck race broadcast. It had to have been pretty early on into the season. So yeah, we'll have to see how we do. And there is the switch over to nighttime. And we'll go ahead and pull up the grid. Actually, exit out of that real quick. Pop that up. So on the grid, you can see there, taking the pole position is Dalton Tucker. And starting alongside him will be Timothy Peters, both in Toyotas. In row 2, we see Cody Reeder and Josh Conover, both driving Chevrolets. And actually, I said it backwards. Josh Conover qualified 3rd. Reeder is 4th. In row 4, we see Brady Motes is going to roll off 5th, and Brian Jones from 6th. Brady in a Chevrolet, and Brian Jones in a Toyota. In row 4, we see Christopher Heights from 7th, and in 8th, Blade Timmons, both drivers in Toyotas. Rolling off from row 5 is Dustin Kleba and Sam Lear. Kleba in a Chevrolet, Lear in a Toyota. As far as row 6, we see Brian Powell rolling off from 11th and Dylan Waterman rolling off from 12th. Both drivers, I believe, are in Toyotas. Row 7 sees James Donahue in, I believe, the only Ford in the field, and Zach Hollinger in a Toyota. Row 8 and the last row of the grid tonight sees Todd Schneider in the number 86. Oh, nope. I apologize. There is one more row. Row 8 sees Jacob Glodich in the number 14 Chevy, rolling off from 15th. And in 16th is Todd Schneider in the number 86 Tundra. And bringing up the rear, last row of the grid, is Josh Thaxton in the number 67. And did I miss? No, he is out there. Okay. I guess the rows are just kind of bunched in a weird way. And yeah, okay. So that is what I'm seeing. So we're going to keep the eye here on Dalton. We're going to go to the start camera. And we should see, and there goes the pace car making the left-hand turn, pulling off the racetrack. And we are under green here at Bristol for the first race of round 2. Dalton Tucker gets out to a big lead. Josh Conover jumps from 3rd to 2nd off of the start of the race. So a great job by Josh Conover to get into 2nd place right away. And we do have a truck going around towards the back. It looked like it was Heights. And we do stay green as the action did occur off of the racing surface. So Heights looked like he just got a little bit sideways, and Kleba had nowhere to go. Kleba kind of slowed down by that. Doesn't look like he has too much damage. Looking throughout the field, we can see Brian Jones dealing with Cody Reeder, trying to find his way past him as Brian's trying to figure out a way to get around Brady Motes. So Bristol Motor Speedway, a very difficult track, and I love how this... There we go. Okay, there goes the stages. I don't know why it was not working properly for me before, but we do have that. So stage 1 is lap 55. Stage 2 is lap 110. Stage points are awarded, but I don't think playoff points matter anymore because, if I'm not mistaken, everybody goes into the final round even. So playoff points mean nothing, so winning the stage isn't even important at this point. But winning the stage could be important in terms of playoff points as Glodich spins the truck around. And we should see our first, and we do, caution of the night. So let's see what happens. So Glodich goes around first. Gets hit by Timmy Harper on the front straight. And that causes a chain reaction behind it. Brian Powell gets into the back of... Was that Reeder? Yeah, that is Reeder. He goes around. Hollinger goes around. Just a whole bunch of trucks getting spun around. And a bit of damage to the front end of Brian Powell's truck, the back end of Cody Reeder's truck. Glodich looks like he has some damage. May not be too happy with Timmy. Personally, I don't know how I would call that from a race control standpoint because there is just way too much going on in that sequence. And yeah, I don't know on that. It does look like Donahue is out of the race already. Thaxton with a good bit of damage as well. So early drama throughout. The only playoff driver affected by this was Glodich and BP, Brian Powell. Both with damage. Glodich is a lap down now because of this. And we have some takers for pit road. Looks like Brian Jones leading the charge down pit road. First car onto pit road. And you got everybody else following him through. So they'll come down and either get 4 fresh eagles. Actually, Brian's got a little bit of spoiler damage. Weirdly enough. I don't know if that's a glitch or if that's actually what it is. It does look like he has right rear damage a little bit. Very minimal, but I'm trying to get, yeah, there's just a little bit of right rear damage on that truck. So early implications throughout for this round. The points as they run isn't all that large. It is, well, I say that it's actually pretty large. In fact, or well, no, Brian's only 20 points up on the cut. I apologize. Chris Heights currently comes into this race 1 point up. Brady Moat 7 and Josh Conover 45. Harper and Glodich were both 1 point back. Lear 3 and Brian Powell 6. So lots of implications that can occur from any kind of damage here. Obviously, it's Bristol. You don't know how much is actually going to play a factor into it. But nonetheless, as we're coming to the choose cone, and everybody looking pretty good for that. So no choose cone violations, so that is good to go. And here we go. We're going to wait. I believe the pace cars, they're going to go around one more time. Here at NORA, we like to do the choose cone early enough. I'm not sure what's going on with Timmy. I believe he is pulling off of the track for some reason. Not 100% sure what's going on there, but Timmy Harper is pulled off to the side, and if I find anything out, actually he's rejoined at the back, so maybe he took an EOL. I'm not really certain what happened there. So we'll return to racing now, hopefully. We should see the pace car pull off. There he goes. And here we go back to the start choose cone camera. And, oh, that's a little close from the 52, but everything looks relatively clean. I wouldn't be chancing it that close, though, if I'm Dalton Tucker on lane change violation like that. That is awfully close. But we will have to wait and see on the ruling post-race. So we're back under green, and Blade Timmons manages to hold on to second this time. Conover unable to get from third back into second place, and we'll see how this affects things. But we're right along, following along with Kleba now, as he looks to find his way around Brady Moats. And as such, we have racing throughout the field. Bristol, such a little track, a lot of action at a lot of the time of the race. So, you might see a guy or two run away with it a little bit, but for the most part, it's racy throughout the field, and lap cars can really cause a problem. It's difficult to get around people when they're at full power, let alone when they're down on power or whatever it might be. So we've got a little bit of a battle brewing right here between Waterman, Moats, and Kleba. Even Reeder and Lear. Timmy Harper, after whatever the penalty was, already up to 9th place. Whether he took an EOL for hitting the choose cone, I didn't really see a choose cone violation. Maybe he had something happen somewhere else. I'm not really sure what the reasoning was, but making up for lost time, he is trying to climb his way back through the field. And he's doing a pretty good job of it, as I said, back up into 9th place. Brian Jones on the freshest tires, currently running in 4th. And Dustin Kleba on the same strategy set of tires, currently just kind of stuck behind Brady Motes back here. And in fact, Brady's gotten around Waterman, and now Kleba is trying to get around him as well. And in fact, I think I was actually a little bit behind, so I do apologize about that. I'm not quite sure where I got behind. I thought I had caught up after the replay, but I guess I had not. So throughout the field, we do continue to have battles. Conover closing on Timmins. We've got Motes closing on Lear. Kleba closing on them. Timothy Harper getting around Waterman. That's for 8th place. So Timmy continues his march back to the front. And then you've got chase implications back here with Heights. And that's Brian Powell ahead of him. But he is, of course, 3 laps down. But he's going to be a man on a mission to try to make up whatever he can in terms of laps by getting around the front cars if he can. That's a tall ask to do. So, and it doesn't help that Dalton's going to be putting people a lap down at some point. Will it happen before the stage? I'm not for sure certain. Right now he's only lapping cars that are already a lap down and a little bit down on power. So, but you can kind of see the battles going on back here. And you know, Brian, a lap truck, but certainly understand, you know, he's trying to fight for whatever he can to get whatever positions and try and be further away from Dalton, because the last thing he wants is to go even more laps down. Looking back up at the front and dealing with lap traffic, Brian Jones inching ever closer to the 2nd place battle of Josh Conover and Blade Timmins. Conover trying his best to use that inside line to figure out something to get around Blade, but it's going to be a challenge to make that inside line work. Just too much of a run gained on the exit by the truck on the high side. So unless you can get around on his outside, if you can squeeze to that truck in front of you's outside, it's going to be very difficult to make a pass. Now, Brian has a little bit of an advantage on these guys with about 10 lap newer tires, and that could prove to be a difference in how he can get around them. Of course, you never know what's going to happen, and we could see these guys actually end up making a little bit of contact. So Conover looks to the inside. He wants to really get around Blade. He's going to close the door, make sure Brian can't fill the top side so that he can hold it, as Brian looks to his inside and tries to utilize the new tires, or newer tires, to his advantage to try to get around Conover. And the more that they battle like this, the closer Sam Lear and Dustin Kleba are going to get. And you can see them in the camera angle just kind of inching ever so closer with each and every lap, as I think Conover may have scraped the wall in 1 and 2. I'm not certain for sure. It could have been a graphical glitch from my view. Sometimes we do get that, a little bit of netcode issue. But whatever may have happened there, Brian Jones is able to clear through the inside and slide up in front of Josh Conover to take over 3rd position. And now he's going to look to make quick work of Blade Timmins to do the exact same thing. And he really makes quick work of Blade Timmins to really just use that inside almost the exact same way he did on Conover, but just for whatever reason was such a quicker move to be made there on Timmins. I don't know what the difference there between the two was. So we'll follow along continuing with this battle, because as you can see, Lear and Kleba have caught both of these drivers. Now, Sam Lear is on the same lap set of tires that both Blade and Conover are on. Kleba, however, is on the 10 lap fresher tires. Now, it looks like Blade got a little bit loose there on exit and decides to hold it on the bottom rather than trying to come up in front of anybody. And we appreciate that, keeping everybody clean and keeping it green. So we inch ever closer to the end of the stage. Dalton is now starting lap 45, so about 11 laps to go in stage 1. We're just ticking them off here real quick. That's what Bristol is. It just goes by so quickly. Small tracks, quick laps. They're only running 14-second, 15-second laps. The field, not too many battles going on. There's a few throughout the field. Definitely, I would say the most interesting right now would be this battle between Kleba and Conover, which really is quickly over. It's just there wasn't really anything to contest there. 10 lap pressure tires. It's clearly enough of a difference. How much of an actual difference it makes, I'm not sure, but it's definitely, he's been running a little bit faster each lap. The guys that are on these old tires are into the 16-second lap times, and these guys that are on the new tires are running into the 15s. So it's one of those things, you put on new tires, you're going to be a little bit quicker. But by putting on these new tires that Jones and Kleba have done, they've lost that set for the rest of this race. And that's a set that Conover and Tucker and Lear and everybody else who has stayed out and is still on those older tires still has. Now, they can obviously make the decision to pit here at the stage and get tires, or they could stay out and not get tires. Honestly, I think that's a difficult decision. It's only 10 laps. I'd probably come and get tires. Even at this point, your tires would be 40 laps old, and you're really going to be pushing it. Now, where this starts to become a factor is late in the race. Depending on how many sets of tires we have, which is usually around 5, it may get dicey if there's a good bit of cautions. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I believe the pits have been closed. We should be seeing the conclusion of stage 1 here in just a moment, as Dalton Tucker is going to take the green checkered and win stage 1. Brian Jones will finish 2nd. Dustin Kleba 3rd. Josh Conover in 4th. Lear 5th. Timmons 6th. Moats 7th. Heights 8th. Harper 9th. And Waterman 10th. So drivers that actually scored stage points that matter to the championship was Jones, Conover, Lear, Moats, Heights, and Harper. They all scored points, with Brian Jones scoring 9, being the most of any of the chase drivers. But Dalton Tucker gets the W here in stage 1. So a great run by him to take the first stage. In fact, I think he led every lap in the stage, so well done. So we are going to move to stage 2, and we'll get that all nice and set up. So you'll see we're going to have stage 2 will end on lap 110, and it looks like everybody's pitting. Sam Lear is going to stay out. My assumption here is this is to lead a lap. I don't know of any other reason he'd need to stay out, as with the older tires. He's on 57 lap old tires. It's not going to benefit him to stay out and actually try to run on these tires. But we'll see. You know, that's to each their own on those decisions. Obviously, the lap drivers are going to, well, they're actually going to pit as well, try and get fresh tires. I guess with Sam staying out, they think that they're not going to get the wave around. And I guess even if they were to get the wave around, you know, at this point you're on 47, 50 lap old tires, somewhere in there. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be a fun time on that old of tires. So it probably doesn't hurt to come down and get the tires changed out and get new tires put on. So Lear does lead a lap. That is worth a bonus point for this season. If I'm not mistaken on this, it's the last year where that will happen. So he is going to come down pit road. And Dalton Tucker is going to come back down pit road. Now, this may be a decision to get his teammate, Brian Jones, a lap led, which again is worth a valuable point. We'll have to see what the decision there is, because that's... I don't know, he just came down. Not really sure. Maybe he's going to top up on fuel, but even then, whatever the decision is, you know, he's coming through. So, and he's just rolling pit road. So, yep. No doubt to try to get teammate a lap lead bonus there. So I guess mission accomplished there. And one of the things that we do love now that iRacing is implemented for hosted sessions, and we'll see it here in just a second, is the start zones. And there you go. Brian Jones goes in the start zone and gets a great jump on the start. To get the lead. So Brian Jones well in front of Josh Conover for the time being. But we'll have to see if Josh can't come back. Use a few different cameras throughout this run. Try to find a couple of good angles and different viewpoints throughout. So Conover now trying to run down Brian Jones. We're going to have our first battle for the lead on the night. All thanks to Dalton hitting pit road and leaving us with this. So definitely not going to argue with it. We love seeing it. And Dalton already up to 7th. He's coming around the outside of Ryan Powell. That is not for position at the moment. And he's trying to get back to the front as quickly as he can. Brian Jones under fire from Josh Conover, running in 2nd place. And the caution is out somewhere on the racetrack. I'm not really sure where, as we're going to try and find it. I'm not seeing... Oh, it's the 28 of Sam Lear. He just, by himself, gets loose off the floor and spins it out. So... caution on the 28. Let me get that sent over. All right. So that brings out our second caution of the race that is not a stage caution. So we will, of course, be utilizing the choose cone. And, well, actually, on this next restart, we're going to ride on board with Josh Conover. Mainly because I have this camera for the Chevy. I sadly currently do not have this camera set for the Toyota. because it is a newer truck and this camera pack that I have is a little bit older. So I have it for the Chevy, and even then it's a little bit off because you can actually see the camera that this is technically supposed to be. But that is the view that we're going to look at. But for the moment, we're going to go to this. I'm kind of doing a small bit of race control, so I know choose cones coming up. It's not this lap. It looks like it's going to be the next lap. So I'll actually sit here on this. So great racing so far. We're only 34. Actually, no, we are a bit more than 34 minutes. According to ATVO, there's only 34 minutes left in the race, which would be incredible. But I don't know. It's kind of flip flopping on what it thinks. Obviously, running under cautions throws it for kind of a loop. So here they come back around. You can see even under caution, laps are so quick. So we're going to see the choose cone here, and Conover is going to drop low. Timmons low. Harper low. Oh boy, the 18 just missed it. Yeah. So we're right on board with Josh Conover for this restart. Because I want you guys to see what happens on these start zone restarts. And Conover's going to try and get as close as he can to Brian so that he can figure out and listen and watch for when he goes. He tries to get a great start. There's a little bit of a wheel spin there. He does get a good start and manages to hold pretty steady. So we're actually going to try and drop the sound down a little bit for riding on board, because it's a little bit on the louder side. And he's now trying to send it up the inside of Brian Jones. He's going to try and find a way to make this work to his inside. So the battle for the lead continues to rage on. Brady Moats, your winner from the Xfinity, or the, I'm sorry, not the Xfinity race, your winner from the Texas race in the Truck Series. He is now running in third place, right behind these guys, looking to go back to back. Brian Jones, a little bit of a wiggle on the high line. Conover looks like he's cleared him. He is going to jump up, and Josh Conover goes to the lead of this race. So Josh Conover is now the lead truck out in front. He gets a lap led, and of course this is all important. And the longer they run, the closer they get to that stage. And of course, like I said, the playoff point doesn't matter anymore, but the stage points do. Those 10 stage points are an extra 10 points of cushion over the cutoff line for somebody like Conover or Brian Jones, whatever it might be. So the playoff point in and of itself to keep and to hold through to the next round, which would be the championship round, doesn't matter anymore. You're not going to hold on to that, and it's not worth anything at this point. But the 10 playoff points, or not the 10 playoff points, the 10 stage points for your finishing position that gets applied to your points as you run currently, that's important. That matters so much more right now. And of course, the most important thing is getting to the finish line first in the race. You win this race and you are going to Phoenix. Guaranteed. So, ever important to get the job done, especially knowing you have to think Conover wants even to get these stage points, because another 10 stage points would be huge and a huge buffer going into the largest unknown for our next race, being Talladega. I mean, Talladega is a track where anything can happen. It's insane. It is the craziest race of the season. It's Talladega. I mean, it doesn't get any crazier than Talladega. So to be able to go in with a little bit of sense of safety from either winning this race or getting as many stage points as you can, that's a huge benefit. And Brian Jones is doing what he needs to. Even finishing second in both stages, it would get him 18 stage points for the night. So that'd be a huge boost for him. Conover, I think, would gain 17 with a fourth place finish in stage one, and if he wins this stage. So it's important. It really is. Like I said, the playoff point that carries over doesn't mean quite as much. But what both Brian Jones and Josh Conover probably see on their relatives is the 52 truck closing ever so much to getting to the front of this group. And he has had a fast truck all night. Even when the tires wore down, he was still running faster than anybody. So by no means is this race going to be an easy win for anybody. You're going to have to beat Dalton Tucker to do it. And that's usually been about how it's been throughout the season and throughout NORA. Another driver that's one of those guys that you've got to beat to really win a race. And especially last year was Dustin Kleba. Kleba, I believe, if my memory serves correctly, and I hate to say that I don't remember this, but I'm almost certain is your champion from last year. I don't want to say that for sure, as that was Gladic getting out of the way. That's the 14, just getting out of the way of the fast guys. He's going to pull it down pit road and make sure that he is clear of the leaders. So we've got 20 to go in the stage, and things are ticking by ever so quickly. And I definitely do not think that the race counter that I have is correct. There's no way there's only 20 minutes left in this race. Even with, I mean, especially not with another stage to go, but it's just, yeah. 27 minutes for 100 laps. I don't know. Although I guess if it goes green, it's theoretically possible. So we're going to keep running and see how it goes. But this is clearly the best battle on track right now. A battle for third. Dalton Tucker trying to find his way around Blade Timmons. An excellent race between three owners' points drivers. Nose to tail, three deep. With Kleba being in that 26 truck. Really, Dalton's just trying to figure out how he can get around Blade Timmons. Maybe thinking about having to do a slide job. As Brian Jones inching ever closer back here at the front. We'll switch back to this battle too because, well, we can kind of see what's going on behind them as well. So, Josh Conover continues to lead. Only a handful of laps left in the stage as we try to run to the finish of this thing. Conover doing his best to keep Brian Jones behind him. I don't know if he's got the truck to do it. Brian Jones letting him know he's there and that he's maybe not too thrilled with the way that Conover's trying to keep him behind him, but Conover's doing what he can to keep him behind. He knows he needs to win this stage to really give him some extra cushion. Like I said, headed into a chaotic race next week. The last thing you want to do is head into Talladega with any kind of chance that you may not make it. And Brian Jones is able to get to the outside of Josh Conover. That's definitely not what he wanted to see. And he is going to go right on by. Brian Jones takes over the lead in this race with only 11 laps to go in the stage. So Josh Conover, not what he wanted to see, but there's just something off with the way that the truck's handling for Josh. It just doesn't look like it's there after the short run. So we'll see if things can get cleaned up as the race goes on, or if Josh is hoping for a yellow flag late in this thing. I'm not going to do any interviews tonight. I'm just trying to get used to calling the race as it is again. So we're going to avoid doing interviews tonight just because I want to make sure that I've got everything down sound-wise and everything's working properly. And we'll look to do interviews, if at all, for the next race we broadcast, which should be Talladega. Dalton Tucker now inching ever closer to Josh. Josh's car looks like it's just fallen off a cliff. The tires have hit the wall. But he did not want to find, and yeah, he's just going to start going backwards now. So he's going to look to hold on to whatever he can. He's only got to do it for about 6 more laps. If he can hold some semblance of position, he can still get some really good stage points and help himself out headed into Talladega. Like I said, Brian Jones doing exactly what he needs to prepare himself for Talladega as well. Dalton Tucker gets the position, clears Conover on the inside, and now it looks like Dustin Kleba is trying to do the same thing, and he clears him as well. So Kleba and Tucker are going to do battle for second place. Brian Jones just too far, I think, up the road. He's coming to take the white flag in the stage this time. The white flag in the stage is out. This is the last lap in stage 2. So we'll have to see on how this is going to go. I very well might only have about 20-some minutes left once we go back green racing. And that's going to do it. Brian Jones takes the stage win. Dalton Tucker second. Kleba third. Conover fourth. Timmons fifth. Moats sixth. Reeder seventh. Harper eighth. Heights ninth. And Sam Lear 10th. There we go. So Brian Jones, Conover, Moats, Harper, Heights, and Lear all score points in that stage. Ever important points. You gotta get those points. Trust me. I didn't score any at Kansas and didn't go well. So. Got about 80 some laps to go. Not so long left in this race. So we're going to see pit stops here from all of the leaders. No surprise there at all. I think everybody knew that everybody's coming. This is probably the final pit stop of the night, barring another caution. We've only had 2 cautions so far tonight, which, hey, that's, for a Bristol race with 17 guys that showed up, to only have 2 cautions, 100 and something laps in, 2 cautions that were caused by incidents on the racetrack, I would say that's a pretty good number there. So Brian Jones is going to get out. Second, Dalton Tucker utilizing that first pit stall perfectly well. He is going to be the race leader. All he had to do was move a couple of inches to really get that truck out of pit road. The benefit of sitting on the pole. I mean, especially here, the pit exit is just right there. It's you just roll the truck a handful of feet and boom, you are out of pit road. So good call by Dalton Tucker. Or a good pit stop by Dalton Tucker, I should say, not a call. Everybody was coming down pit road. That much, I think everybody knew. So we should be going back green with about 85 laps to go, I think, if we double file here and get the 1 to go sign. And that's what it's looking like. The lights on the pace car are off. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to the start cam. Let it be known. See what we're looking for here. So pairs of teammates here at the front with the 2 ghost drivers, Tucker and Brian Jones, 1, 2. And then JRC, Flatline, Trucks, 3, 4, and 5. Pace car makes the left-hand turn into pit road. They're into the restart zone, and Dalton Tucker is underway. Josh Conover gets a great restart. Brian Jones, a little bit of a sleep on the start, but he manages to clear on that inside. You get such a great run on the inside on the restarts and starts. So he's able to get the job done to get into second place. Conover now trying to find his way back around him. And we've got the checkered out for whatever reason. There we go. Now we've got the green. I don't know why it likes to do that to me. So closing in on the end of this race. We are into the final stage. There should be, as long as there's no cautions, there should be no pit stops. These trucks should be able to make it on fuel, if I'm not mistaken. I very well could be mistaken, I'll be honest. But they should be able to make it on fuel. So we hope. And we'll have to see how everything plays out. Obviously, it is Tucker in the lead, Jones in second, Conover third, Kleba running fourth, Brady Moats in fifth. And if a Dalton Tucker wins, or Dustin Kleba, whoever it might be, if they've got an O next to their name, nobody gets locked into the next round. So we could have virtual locks based on points, putting themselves into an excellent position to move on without needing a win. Most likely, if that's going to happen, it's going to either be the 45 or the 17. I will not know for sure until we get to Talladega. So lap 124 of 200 has begun, and they're just going to keep taking them off lap after lap. We're inching just ever so close to that 75 lap mark. We got 2 laps to go to hit 75 to go. So, with not really a quarter, just over a quarter of the race to go, left to go. It's really anybody's race. I do think Dalton has the best truck out here. Barring a caution, it's going to be very hard for me to see anybody get around Dalton Tucker and win this race straight up. That truck has been so fast tonight. And maybe Brian Jones will prove me wrong and he'll get up there and get around Dalton. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see as this run goes on. Obviously, Conover is very quick on a short run. And then the tire's just going to go out for him. And Kleba builds up on a long run. And that's usually where he starts to come forward. So we'll have to see how everything plays out. And can Kleba keep close enough? Can Dalton get out to a big enough lead? Can Brian stick with Dalton enough to be close at the end to maybe pull an Earnhardt and rattle his cage? Who knows? It's Bristol, baby. I wouldn't put anything past anybody. because especially if you're a chase driver, a win here sends you to Phoenix, and that's all you need. Win this race and go to Phoenix. You don't even have to worry about Talladega or Homestead. I had to think about that for a second, and that's sad because that's one of my favorite races. But Homestead, win Bristol, go to Phoenix. Win Talladega, go to Phoenix. And of course, win Homestead, and you're going to Phoenix. Now, is that going to happen? Who knows? Like I said, it's so early still left in this race. Way too much time as Conover sends it around. The caution is out. Josh Conover with a self spin coming off of 2. Just loops it. An uncharacteristic mistake from the driver of the number 17 Silverado. Just looping it around. It's not something we see every day out of Josh Conover. So, self spin to the 17. And I'm going to have to send this one to him just because. Gotta mess with him. So, our third cause caution of the night. Brought on by league owner and buddy, Josh Conover. Everybody hits pit road. And actually, looks like Heights is staying out. So Christopher Heights decides to stay out. And I wonder if this is going to be a decision to try and lead a lap. It does look like he led that lap according to timing and scoring. So I'm not 100% sure. He does stay out again. I wonder if he's making a decision to just stay out here and see how this is going to play out. You know, and anything can happen. Conover, of course, will get the EOL. He'll have to start at the end of the longest line, which is not where you want to be. There's a lot of lap cars, a lot going on in this race. So I believe the choose cone will be coming up next time. We'll go ahead and go to this camera. And yeah, we're chilling, guys. I mean, we're coming up on 60 to go. This last stage is clicking off ever so quickly. This has arguably been one of the fastest races of the year. We've only been live for an hour. And the first 6, 7, 8, actually probably the first 10 minutes of it was the intro and qualifying. So how much racing have we really done tonight? As we come to the choose cone, and everybody looks good. Conover technically isn't allowed to choose, but you know, what are you gonna do? We'll actually leave this here because they are getting the 1 to go green, and Heights did stay out. So Heights is on 25 lap old tires in front of the field. The pace car is off. Heights is into the restart box. And we are underway once more. Dalton Tucker doesn't get a great launch. Cody Reeder jumps to second place and actually ends up jumping to the lead. We had to miss what happened there. He actually goes to the inside, runs the middle, and then we have a caution. And it looks like it does involve Cody Reeder, who goes around in front of the field. And an incredible job by Blade Timmons to avoid that. So let's see who I can ride on board with here. Because there's not a whole lot of trucks there that I can. We're going to go with Dustin Kleba. Because I believe he is in a Chevy. He is. So from the restart through to the incident. So Dalton just really doesn't ever get going. Reeder jumps to the inside of Heights, who, as I said, is on 25 lap old tires. Those are some older tires. And Reeder sends it down in there, and the thing just goes. It just goes around. And oh boy, what a race so far. I mean, what a race. Heights does decide to come down pit road this time. He is going to get the fresh tires. And everybody else chooses to stay out. So a contingent of self-spins. We really only had the one big incident early on that involved a handful of cars. And that was, as I said then, really difficult if you're race control to call that. So because I've kind of been doing race control on the side here, I wasn't going for it. That one just too difficult, and I'd have to take way too many looks at it. So we let it be, and we'll let Josh make that decision. So we're going to come around. I believe we're going to get the choose cone this time. And we'll have to see. So far, so good on pretty much everybody that I have seen. And in fact, I think I finally figured out what happened with Timmy at the start of the race. I think he claimed the EOL for the first incident. So for right now, everybody is looking good. Nobody hit the proverbial cone. So the proverbial cone is right where the apron and the start-finish line meet. You hit that, you've hit the cone. We don't have the marking on the track like they do in real life, and we don't have an actual cone to use here tonight. So the proverbial cone is right here at the start-finish line. So the pace car is going to duck off. Dalton Tucker, your lead truck here now, he's going to get a good jump. Brian Jones gets a good jump, and Dustin Kleba also gets a good jump. So we're going to see how this affects everybody as we're underway. Dalton gets the lead. Brian Jones clear into second, and Kleba third. Blade Timmons runs fourth. Can Conover make up ground? Can he regain what he had lost from his self-spin? Now, Kleba, one of the better drivers out there. In all honesty, and I do say this respectfully, I do think the best racing comes out of the truck series. I very much enjoy the Xfinity cars, but we don't get the field size, and there's a whole bunch of other things that go into the Xfinity car that it just doesn't get to put on some of the shows that we get here in the truck series. So we're in the truck series. That's where we are tonight. That's what our love is for the night. And yeah, we've now got Dalton Tucker, Brian Jones, and Dustin Kleba all under a blanket right here at the front, all trying to figure out how to get to the lead, how to win this race. Because you know, even if you're not really racing for the championship as a points driver, you still want to win the race. And we do have another caution somewhere in the field. Oh, it's the 18. Looks like he gets loose right in front of Reeder, and he goes around. So that one is going to be on the 18. So caution after caution here in the late goings. And you get that with these kind of races. So Brian Jones going to stay out. Oh boy. And there's the decisions. Do you come and get tires? Do you not? Blade Timmons, Josh Conover, Sam Lear, Cody Reeder, Dylan Waterman, and Heights have all valued tires. Now, Heights obviously will be getting the EOL after the spin there. But the likes of Brian Powell, Timothy Harper, Brady Moats, Dustin Kleba, Brian Jones, and Dalton Tucker have all stayed out. They are going to be on 16-lap older tires than Conover, Timmons, Reeder, and everybody else that has decided to make this pit stop. Now, how much of a difference will this make? How quick can somebody like Josh Conover or Blade Timmons get through the field? And Josh actually looking like he's getting damage fixed, staying in pit road for an extra little bit. So Josh might have had damage to be fixed, or he's reviewing the caution as well. Not really sure what's going on there. He's risking the biscuit there, keeping it real close. So Blade Timmons gets out. He is the first driver on fresh tires. Now we're going to see how that plays into the end of this race. Like I said, this is 16, 17 laps-ish. Somewhere around there where there's a difference of tires. We still have 13 trucks out on the track running in this race. Correction. I apologize. Well, he's sitting on pit road. So yeah, 13 trucks still running. Here we go. And, ooh, cutting it close. You're all good. And everybody is good. All right. There we go. We're getting ready for the restart. You see, there's the pace car coming out of turn 4. Makes the left-hand turn. Dalton Tucker gets it down low, keeps it's on the throttle, and we are under green once more here. And we're trying to get back to the actual racing cameras. And Brian Jones has gained the lead on that restart. You saw he had a great restart holding to the outside of Dalton Tucker, and it looks like it paid off for him. He gets the lead. Dustin Kleba is trying to come through too, but the man on the mission that we're following now with fresh tires is going to be Blade Timmons, going to be trying to drive through this field. We'll keep an update on tires because of how big of a difference it is. So Brian Jones holds the lead. Kleba looks like he's going to clear through to second, and he does. So Dustin Kleba gets through to second. He's going to look to the inside of Brian Jones. And ladies and gentlemen, I would not be surprised if we are not done with cautions here tonight. Fresh tires drivers trying to hold on to positions over the fresh tires. We're going to see how everything plays out. Obviously, the guys with fresh tires are going to try to move through this field as quickly as they can. But those without it are going to try and hold on to their positions however they can. So Kleba now looking to the inside of Brian Jones. There's just nothing there to gain. Brian Jones holds the bottom, and now it is Dalton Tucker to the outside of Dustin Kleba. And now he's just going to ride behind his teammate, most likely. Although, no, he's going to look like he's going to challenge him. He wants the lead. Dalton Tucker wants to win races. There's no doubt about that. And he gets up real close to the wall. This is going to open the door for Dustin Kleba. Blade does get around Brady. He's now looking to find his way around Timothy. And Josh Conover on fresh tires also trying to find his way through however he can. Blade now to the inside. A little bit of contact. Might have been net code. If anything, moves Timothy Harper out of the way. I believe it was net code, at least from what I could see. It didn't look like they had made any actual contact. But tempers can flare, and I'm sure for Timothy that was an actual hit, as we see so many times over with netcode. But Blade has gotten around him, albeit a little bit of netcode connection issue. He's now first car on fresh tires, trying to make his way up here to Kleba, Dalton, and Jones. And he's got nothing to lose. That truck's not challenging for owner's points. That truck's not challenging for driver's points. He's just here to win races. And those are the kind of guys that, as a championship driver, as somebody who's running, whether it be for owners or for the title in drivers, these are the guys you worry about. Because this is the guy that's not really going to give a damn, personally. I speak for a little bit of experience because of how I personally was viewing my mindset coming into this race, and the rest of the season until I decided that we're actually going to do the broadcast, because I was no longer going to give a damn. Nothing meant anything other than winning a race, so I was going to do what I had to. That being said, that makes the driver scary. Fresh tires, and he's motoring. He's as fast as the guys in front of him. Conover's currently a little bit faster than Blade, but we'll see how this plays out. There's only 30 laps to go, 29 now. The laps continue to tick down, and the battles at the front continue to heat up. This is where the best racing has been all night. And of course, the one thing that could throw this all for a loop would be a late race caution. Will we see one? I'm not going to say no. We've seen plenty of cautions here tonight. Conover's caught up to these guys. Blade really seems like he can't get any closer to Kleba than he is. I almost wonder if the shine of those new tires have kind of worn off. They've maybe worn them to an equal point with the older tire guys. We're not really sure. He's going to now get, looks like a great run on Dustin Kleba. Try to get around him if he can and make his move towards the front. 25 laps to go. We're getting ever closer to the finish of this race. Blade Timmons with a great run on the bottom gets right around Dustin Kleba. Not much of a fight there. I think the fresh tires kind of showing what they have, being that they are almost 20 laps newer. They're so close to it. Now Kleba holding that bottom, trying to keep Josh Conover from doing almost the same thing. But Conover manages to fight his way to his inside, and he gets around Dustin Kleba as well. So now Blade Timmons and Josh Conover setting their sights forward on the 52 and the 45. How will they get around them? .22 laps to go, coming to 21 this time. The laps are ticking ever quicker, and we're inching quicker and quicker and quicker to the end of this race, which means there's less and less time to get the job done. Like I said, Conover wants to win, so he's locked into Phoenix. He doesn't have to worry about Talladega. Blade wants to win because he wants to win. There's nothing else for him. Dalton's running for an owner's championship, so a win here helps him with that. I believe it sends that truck to the owner's championship round at Phoenix. And Brian Jones is running for the same reason that Josh Conover is, to win here tonight, go to Phoenix, and not have to worry about Talladega. So the racing is intense all the way through. Now Blade Timmons looks to the inside of Dalton Tucker. He's going to make this move on the inside. It's not going to stick for position, but he's still there. Can he manage to pull this out? It's going to be a battle and a half. Dalton is a fantastic driver, and he's going to make that truck run as well as he can. I think the only way Blade gets this done on Dalton is a slide job move. Get a great run off of either 2 or 4 and really just kind of send that truck on in there. And he actually gets into the back of Dalton and sends him around. And it goes right into the front of Josh Conover, who is not happy after that one. Truck gone around and just, yeah. So 15 laps to go. And tragedy strikes. Chase implications for Conover, Dalton Tucker, and the owners, and everybody in this race, really. We're going to have to see who decides fresh tires now. I have to assume it's the field. It's got to be most drivers coming for tires at this point. There's honestly no reason not to come get tires. It's so late in the race. Like I said, I think everybody's, and it does look like it. Everybody has come and gotten tires except for Waterman. Waterman is making the decision to stay out. Okay. So it does look like Brian Jones gets out in first, the 97 in third. And the 26 in fourth, but the 97 is going to have the EOL for cause of caution. So Waterman comes in, and that's going to give Brian Jones the lead here with about 13 to go. We'll see how many we have once we go back green. So things change in a hurry in this race. We'll have to see who can recover from the incidents and what's going to happen here with just about probably 10 to go when we go back green. Maybe it'll be about 11. So everybody makes the decision on the inside, or on their inside or outside choice. A lot of the trucks, it looked like, stayed to the outside, so we'll see how this benefits anybody that chose the inside. As I said, everybody's on that fresh tires. It's hard to pass those up right now. Four fresh Goodyear Wranglers. Brian Jones takes the inside, and he's into the start zone, and he gets a great jump. He's away. Dustin Kleba tries to hold on his outside. So we try to get back into any kind of TV camera as quickly as I can. And so now it is Dustin Kleba versus Brian Jones. Kleba to his outside is going to try and get him. He gets loose. They both actually get loose off of 4. And you could see the battle ensuing behind Timmy Harper, Brady Moats, Josh Conover trying to get whatever he can back. Now it's Dustin Kleba to the inside of... And the caution is out. Caution is out. Brady Moats involved. And Brady Moats on his own. So that brings out another caution here late. Just continues to rack up and ramp up the intensity. This is where it gets exciting. This is a hell of an end to the race. And you know, you gotta be excited. It's interesting because each and every time we get a restart, you never know what's going to happen. Can Kleba hold the outside? Does Brian slip up and make a mistake? Who makes a mistake, if anybody? And honestly, who decides to rattle somebody's cage? I'm giving Blade the benefit of the doubt that maybe it was netcode on his incidents. I'm not going to flat out say that he went out and rattled anybody's cages intentionally or anything, or if he even messed up. It kind of looked like netcode in a lot of the cases for both of the incidents. But of course, it'll get looked at after the event and known for sure on what that ruling will ultimately be. I don't believe there was any intention in any of it. It's just a normal incident, no matter what. And yeah, we're gonna be coming, I think, here to the choose cone probably this time. So we're gonna go back with 3 laps. Now, 3 laps isn't a whole lot of time, and it might be rattle that cage time for somebody. Somebody is gonna get in there. They're gonna put a bumper to a bumper, and we're gonna see something happen. And it's gonna be great. Hey, it's Bristol, baby. We may not be done wadding them up either. Hell, we might have 3 more cautions. It's Bristol, baby. And we're excited for it. This is the epitome of racing, and I'm not sure if we had the choose cone there. I'm actually not thinking we did, because certainly there's no way everybody in the field just chose the high side. Except for like 2 trucks. No way everybody chose the high side, right? Well, we're going to see. And no, that's what I figured. So it's actually going to be just 2 laps to go in this race. And a little bit of trickery by Brian Jones trapping Kleba behind him. Certainly an interesting decision, to say the least. And it's a smart move. I think he values that Kleba's probably, at least in his mind, the biggest threat to him winning this race. And he'd rather have him behind him than starting next to him, because if Kleba gets a good enough start, then, well, it could be all over for Brian. So he's going to be starting behind him now, and that may not be that smart either. So Brian gets the jump. We're underway once more here at Bristol. He's going to get a good jump. Kleba's going to clear. Timothy Harper, no, he isn't clear of him yet. But Kleba's just going to send that thing in there. He's going to look to the outside of Brian Jones. He's going to get alongside him on the outside. Kleba with a heck of a run on the outside. Can he get the job done coming to the line? Brian Jones gets in there deep. Maybe they made a little bit of contact. Don't know for sure, but Brian Jones comes away your winner. Josh Conover second. Timothy Harper third. So we'll go ahead and put that up on the bottom. And that is going to do it here today. Brian Jones comes away your winner. Josh Conover second. Timothy Harper third. Sam Lear fourth. Dustin Kleba fifth. Brian Powell in sixth. Dalton Tucker seventh. Blade Timmons eighth. Cody Reeder ninth. Dylan Waterman 10th. Brady Motes 11th. Todd Schneider 12th. Chris Heights 13th. Jacob Glodich 14th. Zach Hollinger 15th. Josh Thaxton 16th. And James Donahue 17th. And I think we saw a little bit of frustration from Dustin Kleba there at the end. And we're going to actually utilize the chopper cam here, if we can. Try and go back and you know what? We're going to pull out the old reliable drone camera. So here we go. The NORA drone camera, the fastest drone in the world. And now it just looks like he got in as deep as he could to really try to hold it, and it just got sideways on him at the end. A heck of a finish, a great race, and just a wonderful way to finish. So congrats to Brian Jones on winning the race, and congrats to everybody on NORA. What a great race, and what a way to finish. Hard racing to the end. We'll see you guys next time for Talladega. Thanks for joining us.